Bob Woodward has a new book called Fear. Let me tell you about it. Hi, thanks for watching. So today I want to talk about the new book Fear by Bob Woodward. This came out on Tuesday, and I have read a lot of it. I haven't read the entire book. It's really long. But I've made it to about page 300, so I figured that was enough that I got a gist of what's going on in the book, and I can give you my thoughts on it. If I waited a week to make this video, maybe no one would care about the book anymore. So here we go. Now, right off the bat, I want to say that the perception in the media that I've seen about the coverage of this book, it doesn't really match the book that I was reading, okay? I don't know if anyone in the media has actually gone through and read the book, because when they talk about it on the network shows, they all use the same example of, taking a paper off his desk. That was in the introduction, okay? We need some stories, from something throughout the book. I will tell you that I enjoyed what I've read, and I have not been surprised whatsoever at any of the stories. It's the same people that were shocked that Trump won are shocked about how things are in the White House. There's not a single story or anecdote in this book that shocked me. It all kind of makes sense. I think the reporting about that it's a big garbage fire in the White House, I don't think that that's accurate. I don't think that saying that it's just full of lies, I don't think that that's accurate either. I think that Bob Woodward is a pretty good reporter. I think that most of the quotes and stories that are in the book, he probably has on tape. Now, I don't know if he is accurately giving the gist of the story. Overall, I found it very believable. I didn't see this book as a total condemnation of President Trump and how he runs the White House. He is not a lifelong politician, and so he asks questions and says things that you would expect of someone that does not have a lifelong career in politics. One of the funny things he asked if why don't we just print money, right, to pay off the debt? Now, that may sound really naive, but, he got an answer when he asked the question. I don't see it as such a big deal. I understand that the establishment people don't like someone from the outside running things, but I really didn't see this book as being as negative about Trump as has been reported. Now, one thing that Woodward did in this book, he did it, I think he called it Deep Background. Yeah, that's what he called it, Deep Background, where he interviewed many people in the book without mentioning who the sources were. But it's pretty clear to me who some of the sources were. For example, Steve Bannon probably should have had a co-writing credit for this book. He is in this book so much, and we know that this is from Steve Bannon. I mean, how do you know? Because there's stories where it's him and one or two other people in the room, and in each of those stories, Steve Bannon sounds like a badass. Well, shock. I wonder who the source is, right? It's pretty clear Steve Bannon had a lot of say in this book. And I enjoy Steve Bannon's stuff. I get a kick out of him. And so I enjoyed hearing the stories from his point of view of the campaign and the early days in the White House. Let's see, Rob Porter, the staff secretary, he was obviously one of the sources. Gary Cohn, the economic advisor, it's clear, right, that he gave some stories there. Senator Lindsey Graham, and I think that it's come out. I think he's admitted that he gave interviews to Bob Woodward for this book. But when you're hearing stories and you're getting someone's inner thoughts, right, they're the source. John Dowd, that would be Trump's lawyer for all the Russia stuff up until this spring sometime. He's clearly a source. And, he may not have some real positive things to say about, how he left. So you can understand there would be a certain viewpoint that he gives. And lastly, Reince Priebus, right, the first chief of staff He's all over this book. And I don't think Bob Woodward is a clairvoyant. He can't read minds. So when you're hearing Reince's thoughts, his inner dialogue, and what he was thinking at the time, we know that he was a source for this book. You know, one thing that I haven't seen in all the cable shows when they talk about the book, they all use the same story, the same quotes. Give me something from the middle. And, you know, I'll do that too. I guess I will give you one thing that I thought was kind of interesting. I remember Mattis was saying to a group that Trump is a really good listener as long as you don't hit one of his third rails, okay? And that would be immigration or the press. So as long as you stay away from those two topics, you can bring up anything and talk, and he'll really listen to you. And everyone at the meeting chuckled. And I thought that was probably pretty accurate. You know, I have my own third rail topics that I have a hard time biting my tongue about too. So, yeah, I related to that story. I thought it was fun. Now, would I recommend this book? If you're into reading long, you know, histories, political stuff, yeah, I've read a number of Bob Woodward's books because I like, you know, I like this kind of stuff. If you haven't read a book this year, would I recommend a 700-page plus book? No, you know, it's probably not for you. But I found it interesting, and definitely the stories in the book are not what I'm seeing be portrayed in the news about the book. Or at least that's my take. If you've read some of the book, let me know in the comments. Peace. Help me reach my goal of 1 million of 2,000 subscribers by clicking the like button and subscribing. Thanks.